and welcome
to Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
That's Max.
And that's Janey.
And we're here to tell you some stories.
Janey and Max, here to tell you stories.
Like
Sort of the
fairy
Story
tales.
podcast.
And folk tales. And mythology. A little bit of everything else in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And guess what?
I'm Janey.
Oh, no. I was going to say, you're here. I pointed at the microphone like I was pointing at them, Max.
Oh, okay.
You have to start reading my cues. What's up, guys? Hi.
Hello.
I think we're in March now. Happy March, friends.
Yeah.
How you doing? Did you listen to the bonus episode? It was a pretty fun one.
Probably.
It was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was a really fun one.
Pretty good.
I can't remember what I told on that bonus episode. Can you?
I can't either.
We know it
No,
was
I
good.
told a story called Majilka.
And I think I told the black cat.
Yes.
Oh, guys, it was a fun one. On the March bonus episode, I tell a story about a cat who just wants to get his mom laid and has a tiny backpack. And Max and I have an argument about what size this cat is, and you guys get to decide for yourself based off the pictures. And Max tells a story that is fucking awesome.
It's got gender.
It's got gender.
Check. It's got themes.
Check.
Check.
It's got cons.
Check.
And by cons, we mean like places where people sell...
skullduggery. Oh.
Yeah. No, like people sell stuff at it.
Oh, yeah. Both. It's got skullduggery and conventions.
It does. It's pretty fun, and you should definitely go give it a listen. Max, how can they listen to that, though?
Well, geez, they can go over to our Patreon, and for $7 a month, they get the bonus episode for March, also access to all the previous bonus episodes, and for as long as you're a subscriber, you get a bonus episode every month.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. That $7 tier also includes access to the Discord, which includes our book club episodes, which, my fault, we don't have to talk about it. It'll happen.
Max is still working her way into reading this extremely smutty book, but oh boy, it's a fun one. If you guys, all that means is you have time to catch up with me, who've already read it, and now I have to read it again, Max.
Oh my god, I'm gonna do the summary, you'll be fine.
I know, Max has to do the summary of this one because I got shy. It is Mountains Made of Glass by Scarlett St. Clair, and oh boy, is it spicy. It's a spicy little tale.
I'm great. You guys
Max,
are gonna hear me say so many butt words.
You're gonna use a lot of butt words. You're gonna use one penis word, and it starts with a C. Keenness. By the way, this podcast is not for kids.
It's not for kids.
Turn it off if you haven't already and you're around a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's on you, kind of, for not immediately turning it off when I said the F word.
When was that?
You don't even notice anymore.
I don't even notice
It's
anymore.
seamless in our fucking vocabulary.
I don't even fucking notice.
Keenness.
Or for $3 a month, if the $7 tier is a bit too much, the $3 tier gives you access to Discord, which includes the book club episodes. You can come and hang out with us and all of our lovely story baby friends.
And if we ever do like movie nights or Zoom calls or just random hangouts, you get access to that too, because we want as many people there as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've also done like live recordings before. So come hang out with us there. The link for our Patreon is in the show notes for this episode and every episode. You can also contact us via email at sortofthestory@gmail.com.
Send us something weird.
Or you can go to our website, sortofthestory.com, or you can follow us on socials at sortofthestory. That's Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram.
Yeah, all of our pictures are on Instagram.
Yeah.
Max, you did that real good.
Thanks.
Hey.
Thank you.
It's March, and we're here to tell you all of the news.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Max,
Janey.
I have something quick to tell everyone.
Oh.
I'm sick. So if this episode sounds gross, well, you fucking do it while you're sick, okay? It's not my fault. I work with children.
No rest for the podcasters.
None. And by the way, I got sick because I work in a petri dish filled with germs, and one of my children snotted all over her desk, and I accidentally put my whole hand in it. That's just something that happened to me.
The thing that really gets me about that is that it's not like she just sneezed onto her desk and then you happen to put your hand into it.
No.
It's that she was collecting all of her mucus and boogers in a pile on the desk.
In a pile
that had
was
been there
big.
for long enough that it was cold.
It was cold. It was yellow. Guys, are you grossed out? Well,
that's the part that gets me, is that there's like an amount of like forethought and focus that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
An intentionality that I'm kind of like, was she mad at you?
No, she wasn't. She loves me, but she's kind of a snotty kid, which, you know what? No judgment. Apparently, I'm a snotty kid too.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a pile that was big enough to cover my entire hand. From the tip of my pinky all the way down to the bottom of my palm. It was all covered.
Yuck.
It was so much. And I almost threw up on her head. Guys, I sat there going, it's okay. And then I panicked. And we had just had a training where a police officer was like, listen, when your heartbeat gets over 120 beats per minute. When it gets up to that 130, 140 range, you lose your motor function and you lose your ability to think. So you really have to be like prepared ahead of time, right? Just don't make yourself think when you're stressed. And I was like, yeah, that's true, but didn't really realize how true that was until I had a hand full of cold, yellow, thick snot, and I was trying not to throw up on kindergartners as I ran around my room looking for my Lysol wipes, which I always know where those things are, and I was like, where are they? I ran around the whole room, and every kid kept going, can I have a hug? And I was like, bleh. I'm gonna throw up on one of you if I have to feel the snot when we're done. It was so bad. So yeah, anyway, this is a PSA. Be prepared always. Don't make yourself think. Mm-hmm. You won't be able to when you're panicking. We're all just trying to live. Mm-hmm. Max.
Hi.
We might have to do 2 episodes in a row today. Do you want to just get started?
Let's do it.
Okay. And it's 1:22, so you're going first today.
Yeah.
Are you excited about your tale?
I am.
Okay.
It's a good one. It's interesting.
I have no clue what you could possibly be doing.
I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay, thank God. Whew, you want to do it? When do you want to do it? Like now, or do you want to?
Yeah, now's good for me. If now works for you.
Guys, does now work for you? If it does, keep listening. If not, I don't know, pause it. You're on a podcast. We're not forcing you to be here.
You're not part of the bit.
Listen. If you
this is happening between us in real time.
If you say, no, Janey and Max, I'm not ready for a story, pause it.
We can't hear you.
You have the ability in your hand. You are the god of your own podcast listening. Okay. With that, Max, tell me a tale.
Will do.
Okay.
All right, Janey.
Okay, Max.
The story that I'm going to tell to you today is The Red King and the Witch. Pretty good name, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty good name.
I have it in a collection of stories called Gypsy Folktales by Diane Tong.
Oh, we know Diane Tong.
Do we?
Yeah, we've used a couple of hers before, I think. I'm going to find him.
Very cool, very fun book. Does a really great job of sourcing from a bunch of different other collections of books, as well as like secondhand storytelling from direct sources. I have to say this every time.
Yes.
Every single time. The word gypsy is a slur. Don't use it to refer to people. Mm-hmm. This is one of those cases, though, where this is like a term that they use to refer to themselves, and there's no more accurate or correct term for this, because in the modern era, a lot of times when people say gypsy, they mean like Romani peoples or else other nomadic peoples from like Eastern Europe and Northwestern Asia. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they're talking about Romani, but there are lots of different groups of people that are encompassed by the term gypsy, which is in its own way
and it was
super reductive
to other people and to punish people for being different and to put them into concentration camps during the Holocaust. So
yes, 100%. Just
keep that in mind. There's a history behind the word.
Yeah, there's a history behind the word. It is a slur. Do not use it to refer to people. But this is what the book is called. This is how the storytellers refer to people in the story. So I'm going to keep that in. Yeah. Also, just because Romani doesn't actually apply to most of the people in these stories. They're from different nomadic groups in the area. Yeah. So that's just, I've told a couple of stories from collections of like gypsy folktales before, talked about a little bit before, but just so you know, you learned something today. If you didn't already know, don't fucking do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say, too, gypsy in the same sense as the word Indian, like my family is Native American. We use the term Indian. We're not like gung-ho about like if you use it, we're going to be like, how dare you? But also it's not a great term to use because there are better ones to use. And there's a lot of history behind it.
Yeah.
So,
and there are also people who like in like today still are very, very proud to call themselves gypsies. Mm-hmm. And like... Especially they are super, super proud of that identity. It's not something you should call someone. Yeah. Unless they tell you that that's what they call themselves or want to be called. Yeah. That's just kind of
that term more from people descended from like different groups here in America than elsewhere. Yeah. But I also think that here in the US, there's a lot of people who have struggled really hard over the generations to keep a hold of their culture. Mm-hmm. So I think that's also something that people don't really take into account when they hear Americans say certain things where I'm like, I mean, when you hear people say like, I'm Italian and they're from America, it's like that, like people tend to judge it, but it's like, hey, a lot of the groups here have had to struggle to maintain their identities. Yeah. So they can say whatever they want about themselves.
100%. So that being addressed, this story is from Romania, from 1878. It was recorded by Dr. Barbu.
Dr. Barbu Constantinesca.
Constantinesca. It was later published again by Francis Hines Groom in 1899 in a collection called Gypsy Folktales. He described this as one of the most unique stories in his collection of books, and I'll talk a little bit later about why that is. There's also a collection of quote-unquote gypsy folktales that are put together into a children's book by Ruth Manning Sanders, who is a very prolific folklorist and children's writer who was born in like 1899 and died in like 1988 or something like that. She was 102, so that math doesn't work. You get the idea.
Yeah.
But she published a collection of gypsy stories called The Red King and the Witch, Gypsy Folk and Fairy Tales. I have some illustrations from that book. None of them are actually, I don't think, this story, but they're really cool illustrations, so I'll show you those at the end.
Okay.
So, The Red King and the Witch. There was the Red King. He was a guy.
Oh, he was a boy. She was a girl.
Oh.
Can I make it any more obvious?
He was the Red King. She was a witch.
Can I make it any more obvious?
The Red King realizes that food is being stolen from his pantry. And my first thought, which I think is probably also yours, is it's like, okay, you're the king, so like...
You have food.
You have food and you're fine.
Yeah.
But this kingdom is going through some really hard times. It is not as easy as it used to be to get food. And like they don't have an excess of food at the moment.
Yeah.
This is kind of just sustenance amounts of food.
Yes.
And his food just keeps going missing from his pantry, which is frustrating because he has his wife, he has 3 adult sons, and then he has a baby girl. Mm-hmm. So like a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Every night he puts 10 ducats of food into this cabinet. Mm-hmm. And then every morning he goes and checks the cabinet and it's empty.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. And so every night he stations a guard outside of the cabinet with a guard dog. And he's like, don't let anyone steal this. And every night without fail, the guard and the guard dog both fall asleep. And then in the morning, the food is gone.
I think I would keep the food in my room or something.
Maybe I would go shopping in the morning.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah, 100%.
That would change my habits.
Yes. So he gets so frustrated with this. He's like, I cannot keep doing groceries every day. It's emotionally taxing.
It's very honorable that he's doing his own grocery shopping.
So he makes a proclamation to the kingdom, and he says that he will give half of his kingdom to whoever can guard the cabinet from whoever this thief is for one whole night.
Oh my God. The stakes are not high enough to gamble away half your kingdom.
It's gotta be like a small kingdom, is what I feel like.
I mean, sure, but I wouldn't
like a neighborhood.
If we started losing groceries in our house, I wouldn't be like, somebody can live in half our house. You know?
Sure.
I wouldn't be like, you can have a corner of our yard. No, you can't. My food goes somewhere else now.
So he promises half of the kingdom to whoever can prevent this thief from stealing his food every night. Mm-hmm. Now, as I said, he has 3 sons, and the eldest of them is like, well, half the king, I'm supposed to be inheriting the kingdom. You can't just give away half the kingdom. And his dad's like, I can, and I'm going to. And he's like, well, can I try to like guard the cabinet and then
like why didn't you give him a chance?
Yeah. And the king is like, well, I mean, you can try. I don't have a lot of like hope for you, but go for it, I guess.
I do think you fucking suck, Jeremy, but I suppose if you want to stand outside a cabinet, it's better than what you usually do.
What does he usually do?
Skateboard.
Classic Jeremy, skateboarding all night every night.
All night every night.
In the castle. Mm-hmm. He's always grinding on the banisters of the main stairwell that come in the castle.
He's always grinding on those stairwells.
That's a skateboarding term.
Yeah.
I know that because I know
he flips the ollie for the girls.
He flip a ollie for the girls.
Flip a ollie for the girls. Guys, watch that episode of Game Changer.
Yes.
That's it. That's all you get. That's your clue.
Have a good time.
Have a good time. It has a woman named Lisa. She's blonde and she's crazy.
Oh, crazy.
And we love her. She's the mascot of our house.
So that night, the eldest son, he puts a pillow down on the stone floor next to the cabinet, and he's like, I'm going to catch whoever's doing this.
Why would you put a pillow down? Mm. Don't do that. Don't make yourself comfortable.
He puts a pillow down next to the cabinet, and he lays down, and he's like, I'm going to be awake the whole time.
Why would you lay down, Jeremy?
And he lays down, and he stays awake all night, and nothing happens. Oh. And then, like, just before dawn, this warm breeze comes in through the window, like, the barest tinges of pink are appearing on the dark skyline. And he's like, I made it. I made it to morning. And then he falls asleep.
Jeremy.
And he wakes up again like an hour later. And the cabinet is empty.
Oh.
And his dad is like, wow. Shocker.
Why would you still put 10 ducats? I think I'd put 1 ducat if I'm testing people out.
Yeah. 1 ducat's worth of food.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like you're going to have any more or less left in the morning because you have nothing left in the morning.
Yeah.
Have people eaten in the past couple days?
I would put like a stink bomb in it. And then when they open the cabinet, they get stinky.
This is a really good question that I've been dealing with my friends who keep getting their packages stolen out of their buildings in New York. And they have videos of people doing it. And they're like, God, what should I do? And we're like, I don't know, hide a little prank gift in there.
Yeah.
Give them like a picture of like a stock photo of a family and say, you're stealing from these children. Like, I don't, like, give them something they wouldn't ever want. Or just like a glitter bomb, something, you know, to like glitter everywhere. But like, no.
They should though.
Right?
Ants.
I think I would just, like just wasps. Live wasps.
Yeah, live wasps. I would put live wasps in the cabinet.
But live wasps in the cabinet.
Yeah, and then whoever is covered in wasp stings and maybe dies,
that's the thief.
Yeah.
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 Guys,
I would be a good king.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second son goes to his father and he's like, Father, I know that Jeremy sucks and did bad.
Jeremy sucks.
Jeremy just sucks.
Everybody thinks so.
Everybody thinks so.
He's really bad at skateboarding too.
He keeps flipping an ollie for the girls and the girls are not impressed.
The girls don't like ollies. Girls just like cars and money.
Girls only like eat hot chip and lie.
Everyone knows that.
So the second son is like, I will try. I'm going to try and stay up tonight and catch whoever this is for our family's honor. And also because Jeremy sucks.
Also because I have middle child syndrome and everything my brother does, I want to do better.
Yes.
Notice me, Daddy.
Yes. And the dad is like, okay, I mean, you can try, but I really don't feel like you're going to be able to do anything. And the second son is like, I'm going to do it. Don't even worry. And he's like, all right, whatever you say. So the second son that night he lays a pillow down next to the cabinet and he lays down on the stone floor and he's like, I'm going to stay up all night. And then at 10 p.m. he falls asleep. He's a sleepy bitch. Falls asleep at 10 p.m., gets a lovely long night's rest. His back realigns itself because he's not in like a super soft mattress anymore. And he's like, wow, I feel amazing. This is great.
Max is projecting. She got a plank bed.
Yeah.
It's basically just a couple of boards pressed together.
It is, and my spine is fixed. So he wakes up in the morning and the pantry is empty. And the king comes in and is like, wow. So not that much better than your brother then, huh? And then the youngest brother is like, Father, please, I want to try to guard the pantry against these thieves tonight. I swear I can do it. And his dad's like, all right, well, I mean, I guess it would be weird to have the other two try and not have you try. So you can go for it, I guess. And then tomorrow we'll find someone who can actually do it. And the youngest son is like, absolutely, I won't let you down. And he puts his pillow on the
Why?
next to the cabinet.
Fucking sit in a chair.
But
or stand, like probably the other guards were.
But
okay,
he takes 4 pins and he puts them in the pillow sticking up and then he lays down in between them. So if his head turns to either side, he gets poked with pins. So every time he starts to like fall off to sleep and his head dips to one side, he gets poked in the head by a needle.
I don't have the strength for this. I would move the pins. I just know me. I would know the consequences and I would still move the pins and take a nap.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, no.
Half the kingdom for one night of hanging out?
I just think that they shouldn't be laying down at all. I went to bed at 5 o'clock yesterday. I finished reading my book. Just bring a book. They should have brought an Allie Hazelwood book. They could have been kicking their little feet all night long. Or they could have hung out together. Why didn't they all just go and hang out? keep each other awake. Why are they making comfy beds in front? This is counterintuitive.
You would make a really good prince.
Thank you. I don't like that you would make a good king and I would make a good
Papa's
prince.
favorite.
Well, I do like hearing that. It's not often I hear that, so that's not bad.
So the youngest son sets up with his weird torture pillow, and he lays down.
Oh, youngest son's into some weird shit.
He's into weird shit.
He already had that torture pillow.
This is not the first time that he's put pins in a pillow. He lays down on the floor, and every time he's about to fall asleep, his head turns to one side, and he gets poked, and he's like, ah, and he wakes up. So he stays awake all night, watching over this cabinet. And just before dawn, he's like, I'm not sure I'm going to make it. I'm so tired. But like the pins keep waking him up. Just before dawn, he hears a scrambling sound, and he looks over at his baby sister's cradle.
Oh.
And his baby sister is crawling out of the cradle.
Ooh.
She gets up on like the edge of it, and she like tumbles out, and then she does like a somersault across the floor. Yeah. And as she does so, she transforms. His baby sister does this somersault, and in the process has like a magical girl transformation into a fucked up monster.
I love her. Good for her.
Her teeth became like shovels, and her nails like an axe.
Her teeth were like shovels?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, like a mole.
Ew.
Yeah. Her teeth became like shovels, and her nails like an axe.
Hot girl shit.
Yeah, hot girl shit. And she does her horrible little goblin waddle over to the cabinet and opens it up and just shovels with inhuman speed, shovels all of this food into her mouth.
Why isn't he stopping her?
He's pretending to be asleep.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the most terrifying thing he's ever seen.
Yeah, he'll never be able to love his sister again.
Yep. So she eats all of the food. She leaves all of the platters inside of the cabinet clean, which also, why are you storing them on platters? Put them in a box. Like,
do
that really
anything.
Seems like you're asking for someone to come in and eat.
At this point, do
all 10
anything
ducats of
to
food.
Save yourself some money.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Where does she put it all? Oh my
God.
God.
Does she put
this
it all?
little girl is the Jennifer Lawrence of princess babies.
Sure.
Remember when Jennifer Lawrence went on her whole Hunger Games tour and all she would talk about is how much she loves eating cheeseburgers and French fries?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm not one of those skinny girls. Remember that?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, you are though. What?
So like, shut up.
She became for a while, like, Jennifer Lawrence for a long time in my teenagehood was the symbol for body positivity. It's like, you need to love yourself even if you look like Jennifer Lawrence, who eats cheeseburgers and is a movie star and is like 20
like a
pounds.
size 4, like
is
what
like world renowned for being one of the hottest women on the planet.
Even if you look like that, you have to love yourself.
You have to, even if you look like Jennifer Lawrence.
Which, like, ugh, aim higher, but like...
Oh my God. But also don't eat a cheeseburger. Don't you dare.
Also, this is not bashing on Jennifer Lawrence.
No, she's the fucking best, but that's
At
just
all.
how the media portrayed her everywhere.
This is like...
She was just being herself, and they're like, isn't she so relatable to all of us really fat girls? It's like, no.
No, she's a movie star.
She's not.
Right message, wrong reasoning.
I mean, that message also, I don't think needed to be said at all.
Yep.
Everybody should just fucking stop talking about everything. Okay, go ahead.
So this horrible little baby creature eats all of the food, and then she licks all of her little claws clean, and she scrambles across the floor towards her cradle, and she does a little like front somersault again and turns back into a precious little baby.
Yeah.
And then she crawls into her cradle and falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And the youngest son, who's, by the way, his name is Little Peter, I know. What?
Now I'm trying to figure out if I want to switch the story I'm going to tell you for this episode, because I have a story about Green Peter. I don't know. Go ahead.
An array of Peters.
Yes. Our accidental name could be Peter.
The youngest son, Little Peter, continues to pretend to be asleep, lying next to this cabinet, but he is shaking with fear. He has just seen something that will change him forever.
Yes.
Dawn comes, and his father, the king, comes in and is like, okay, how'd you do? And he like opens the cabinet. He's like, oh, it's empty. Wow.
Who could have predicted that?
So, to the yellow pages, I guess. And he's like, did you even like see anything last night? And little Peter says, what did I see? What did I not see?
Sassy.
Got him. Give me money and a horse fit to carry the money, for I'm off to marry.
Oh, shit. He's like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So his dad gives him a strong horse and a few sacks of ducats, and he rides off to get married.
Wait, what? Little Peter, I thought you were going to be the main character.
He is the main character, but he was just like, oh, that's fucked up, and I'm not interested in participating. Thank you.
This is maybe the most relatable character we've ever had.
He's like, oh, no thank you.
He fucking dips.
It's like, y'all got some shit going on that I don't want to be a part of.
What would you do? I'd leave.
Yeah.
Fucking
be like,
screw
hey,
you,
Dad,
family.
I need some money. I'm going away.
It's
have
bad
to
to
here.
be gone now.
So he takes his horse and all of his money, and he rides off to find himself a wife.
Okay.
He rides to the border of the
He's
kingdom.
having a mental breakdown.
Yes,
This is what this
100%.
is. He's like, a girlfriend will fix me.
Yes. I can't sleep ever again. Oh no. He rides to the borders of the kingdom, and as he gets right to the border of his father's kingdom, he jumps off of his horse and he digs a hole in the ground. And he buries all of the money that his father gave him in this hole.
Mm-hmm.
And then he covers it up with dirt, and he takes a stone cross and places it on top as like a place marker for literally all of his money.
Oh, no.
And then he gets back on his horse and he continues to ride.
Little Peter, why?
Why?
Well, he doesn't want to get robbed on the road, but also...
But
just picture his little sister galloping after him with her shovel teeth, like...
you just hear like click, 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 click.
I'm here to eat your ducats of gold.
It's just the leprechaun from Leprechaun.
That's what I'm picturing now. It's Warwick Davis.
Yeah, I'm picturing Louise Belcher dressed as Warwick Davis from Leprechaun.
That's exactly it.
With like the long nails
Yes.
in one episode. Yeah. Yes. So he rides off to meet his future.
Yeah.
I fucked up saying me, and then I was like, turn it into an accent, we can save this, and no, we can't. It was weird.
Oh boy.
He's gonna go meet his future. So he continues on riding.
No, you
towards
can't. No,
his future.
Hey, what's happening?
And he rides for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 years.
Okay.
Sure. And finally, he arrives at a beautiful castle. And in this castle dwells fuck you, dwells the queen of all the birds that fly. Specifically. But like not
penguins.
flamingos.
Not flamingos. Not ostriches for sure.
Not ostriches.
They have no ruler.
Yeah. Not kiwis.
No. And you know what? This is going to sound weird. Not geese.
Oh, geese fly.
Yeah, but they don't have a queen either.
Oh, yeah.
Now the Canada
Yeah, they're a
gooses.
rebel state for sure. So this is the queen of all the birds that fly. And she greets him at the door of her castle. And she says, "Where are you going, little Peter?" And he says, "I'm going where there is neither death nor old age to get married." So he's nailed down some specifics, I guess.
How little is little
It's
Peter?
been 8 years since he left.
So I'm going to say he's like probably like between 26 and 28 years old.
Yeah.
Because they said he had grown sons.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. So the Queen of Birds says, "Well, here there's neither death nor old age." And little Peter says, "Well, how is it that there's neither death nor old age here? Explain the rules to me." And the Queen of Birds says, "Well, when I whittle away all the wood of this forest, only then will death and old age come to me and take me."
So she's like, "I've never whittled a day in my life." So problem solved.
Problem solved. But she's basically, she's under this thing where it's like, if as long as the forest still stands, she will live forever and she will stay young and beautiful forever.
Okay.
Which is a pretty sweet deal.
But does that apply to everyone in her kingdom or just
That's
her?
a super good question. Little Peter says, "One day death will come and old age and take me." And she's like, oh, yeah, I guess. And he's like, so you're not the one for me.
Oh.
I'm moving on. She's like, all right. I mean, okay, bye.
Wow.
And he rides on.
All right.
He found the loophole.
He's certainly not going to sign a contract without reading all the fine print.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Little Peter has real contract law energy.
He does. And also, he's like, I've seen something horrific, and I don't ever want to have to die. He's like, maybe that's what hell looks like.
I know when I die, I'm going to hell to be tormented by what I've seen.
Old Shovel Deep over there is gonna fucking scoop me up every day.
So he continues to ride, and he rides for another 8 years.
Okay, so now he's like 36.
Mm-hmm. Grown-ass man.
Yeah.
He rides until he arrives at another palace. This palace is made entirely of copper.
Okay.
And at the door is waiting for him a beautiful maiden. And she says, I have waited a long time for you.
Oh.
And she walks up and just walks into his arms and kisses him.
Oh.
And the next day...
Uh-oh. And then they apparently...
There's a real, like, fade to black that happens here. It says, I have waited a long time for you, and she kisses him. The next morning, little Peter is out in the stables saddling up his horse to leave.
Little Peter, you dog.
You dog, little Peter.
Dog.
And the Copper Princess comes out and sees him in the stables and starts crying and, like, throws herself down at his feet and is like, where are you going, little Peter? And
don't marry somebody named Little Peter at 36 years old, please.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Little Peter says, I'm going where there is neither death nor old age. And the Copper Princess says, well, there's neither death nor old age here. And he's like, uh-huh, and how's that?
Oh my God, what a dick.
And she says, well, only when these mountains are leveled and these forests too, only then will death come to my kingdom. And he's like, well, when you put it that way.
I guess I do love you.
When you put it that way, this is no place for me. And he rides on.
Why? Oh, it wasn't
Little
good sex.
Peter.
Oh no, whatever decision she made in bed, he was like, not worth it.
Yeah.
What could she have done? What if she was like, I'm really into slapping you? I feel like he'd be fine with that. What if she was like, I have to wear this full Santa Claus outfit in order to get off. And I need you to every once in a while compliment my beard. My Santa Claus beard. And I want the birds to watch. He's like, what birds? And then she pulls back a curtain and there's just a bunch of condors sitting on a fence. And she's like, no, look at them. Say their names. And he's like, Henry. He's like, I can't do this forever. They're all named Henry.
I mean, she's been alone for a long time. There's nobody else in the castle. It's just her.
Except for all the Henrys.
Except for all the Henrys.
She's definitely fucked those birds. Yeah, I would leave too. She's weird.
To reiterate, the birds are not there. You have invented the birds. She has been alone in this castle for perhaps her entire life, waiting for this man to arrive.
I feel bad for her, but also he has to have seen something that really upset him.
Yeah, I just mean that she's had the time and boredom
to name every condor?
No. She's had the time, energy, and just absolute boredom to find, like, some really weird specific shit.
She's watched really weird porn.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
So little Peter rides on.
Okay.
Leaving the Copper Princess weeping behind him. Because he sucks.
Yeah, he sucks.
You'll notice at this point, he says, I'm going to find a place where there is neither death nor old age. Doesn't care about marriage anymore.
Yeah.
Does not mention that. Is not interested.
Just wanted to get laid.
Just wanted to get laid, and now he's done that, and he's like, I don't need to get married. Why would I do that?
Once every 8 years, he gets laid. And he's like, I'm fine with this.
16.
Once every 8 years. You don't think he got laid by the bird girl?
No.
Okay. Once every 16 years, he gets laid.
So he rides on. Again, for absolutely no reason. Like, it sounds like the rules...
Yeah. Yeah, no, he doesn't actually care about any of this, it turns out. And he's also getting older as he goes.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care about... He could die at any time, and he's getting older as he rides.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that plays into the moral of this story, which I will talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
So he rides on, and he gets to the Plain of Regret.
uh-oh. He's like, I better go back to that weird copper princess. Let her slap me around in front of the Henrys.
He gets to the Plain of Regret, and his horse, who didn't, is a talking horse the whole time. His horse is like, oh, little Peter, we got to get through here really quickly, because if you stop in the Plain of Regrets for too long, then regret will consume you. It will seize you and cast you down, horse and all. So we got to keep going.
Really don't want that last part to happen. Also, little Peter, you have a lot of regret.
Yeah. And so the horse is like, we got to keep going. And he's like, all right. And he like spurs his horse to ride through the Plain of Regret as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't have to stop and think about what he's done.
Oh, this is the
it's like if you never stop moving, then you'll never have to feel bad about the things that you've done.
You're like one of those regret sharks. If you never stop swimming, you never have to confront the realities of your own decisions.
Mm-hmm. The shark of id.
Yeah. The shark of id. The shark of id.
Thank you.
It's a Jason Statham and Crank. If he stops moving, he'll die.
The crank of id.
Shark crank. Shrink. He got shrink.
So he and his horse ride as quickly as possible through the Plain of Regret, not stopping to look at themselves or examine their decisions. At the end of the Plain of Regret, they pass into another realm and they reach a small hut. Mm-hmm. And in the small hut is a 10-year-old boy.
Uh-oh.
And the 10-year-old boy says, little Peter, what are you looking for here? And little Peter, at this point, a 44-year-old man, says, I seek a place where there is neither death nor old age. And the little boy says, well, here there is neither death nor old age. I am the wind.
You know what? Kids say the fucking stupidest shit. Don't listen to him.
My heart is like a Godzilla. Are you hungry? I want lunch. Kids. And so little Peter says, never will I go from here. And he decides to live in this little hut with the 10-year-old boy who is the wind.
No.
For all his days.
What?
Yeah. He's like, this is fine and good.
Okay.
He stays there for 100 years. He does not age. He stays a crisp and beautiful 44. Every day he goes out into the
crisp and beautiful 44.
Fresh as the morning dew.
No spring chicken.
Basically an egg. Like,
is this infant allowed to go riding alone?
He's being babysat by the 10-year-old.
Babies babysitting babies, am I right?
Oh my god. So every day he goes out and he takes his horse and he goes hunting in the mountains of gold and silver, which are like right there. And he is super successful every day. Every day he is able to bring home so much game that he can barely carry it. Mm-hmm. Which I'm like, it's just the two of you. There's got to be some of that going to waste, like why? And he continues doing this for 100 years.
Okay.
Just every day going out and hunting and then hanging out with
on the mountains of gold and silver.
Yeah. And then going home and like cooking dinner and hanging out with this 10-year-old boy and playing race cars together, I assume.
His best friend.
His best friend, the little boy who is the wind.
Just a couple. What's the little wind doing? What, does he have a job? Does he just hang out there?
Does he have parents?
Yeah, where's your dad?
Little Peter is his dad now.
Ew.
Which is weird because they're both infants.
Because they're both so young and youthful.
It's like, look at these two handsome young brothers. So the boy tells him, little Peter, go to all the mountains of silver and gold, but do not ever, ever go to the Plain of Regret or to the Valley of Grief. And little Peter's like, bet. And after 100 years of getting everything that he wants and going to the mountains of gold and silver and hunting all of the game that he wants and playing PlayStation with his best friend.
And never seeing anyone else, apparently.
And never seeing anyone else.
Good Lord.
After 100 years, he's like, I kind of do want to check out the Plain of Regrets and the Valley of Grief, though. Like, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah.
So he goes out to the Plain of Regrets and... No, sorry. He goes to the Valley of Grief, different place that he hasn't been yet. Similar, close by, though. They're, like, right down the road.
Take a left at the Mountain of Silver, and you're going to find the Valley of Grief. You know it, because all the birds are crying over what they've done.
So he goes to the Valley of Grief, and as soon as he steps into the valley, grief cast him down. He wept till his eyes were full.
That doesn't take long. Full of tears?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the second you start
full
crying,
of shit.
your eyes are full of tears. Ew. That's how you get pink eye max.
I don't know. He wept until his eyes were full. And then when he could weep no more, he turned around and he went back home to his little brother, the 10-year-old who is the wind. And he announces that he is going to go home to his father. He's like, I have been away.
Your father's not alive?
He's like, I've been away from my family for too long. You've distracted me and I've been stuck here. And it's time for me to go home and fulfill my duties as a son and as a man. And the wind boy says, don't go, for your father is dead, and you have no more brothers left at home. 1,000,000 years have come and gone since then. The spot is not known where your father's palace stood. They have planted melons on it.
Oh.
1,000,000 years have passed.
But I thought it was only 124.
100 years.
Yeah, plus the 24 that he was writing.
Yes, this plus the 24 that he was writing. But in this place where the wind lives, time moves differently. It's one of those.
Do you think they celebrated an anniversary every time?
Maybe.
The anniversary of him arriving?
Probably.
Okay. 1,000,000 years, now there's melons there. Future melons.
I think what they did to celebrate probably was they got a cup and they just put a bunch of like different liquids and spices and like sticks and stuff. And then they stirred it up and they were like, it's a potion. And then they drank it.
They made a little mud pie and they threw it at passing cars.
The scourge of the gold and silver mountains. So the little boy says, your family's gone. It's been 1,000,000 years since you left. There's nothing left for you there. I'm really sorry. I thought you kind of got the deal that like you would live here and not die and not grow old, and because time works differently. And
you look so confused. So you're just you don't understand.
Oh, okay. So little Peter is like, I don't care what you say. It's not true. And the wind is like, no, I was just there though. And like, they literally planted melons where your dad's castle used to be. It is gone. They are not even bones. They are dust and ash beneath the earth. They are gone. They are so gone. And little Peter's like, I don't believe you. I'm going home. Goodbye.
Okay, but even if 1,000,000 years hadn't passed, it's not like those stories where you hear about them being gone for like Oshin was gone for 3 years and it turns out 300 had passed. Like that one, I get him being like, oh, I can't believe it. I need to see it for myself. He's been gone for 100 years. Like they're not still there, little Peter.
Little Peter.
Can we find a different nickname for him? He is as old as time.
Oh, little Peter. Little old Peter.
It's me, little old Peter.
I don't think we should use that one. So he gets on his trusty horse, who also has not aged, and the horse is like, looks like we're hitting the road again.
How
and then
long
like
do
Back in Black from
horses
AC/DC
live?
plays. The horse also doesn't age.
Yeah, but how long do horses live? Because he was riding that horse for 24 years.
Horses live for 25 years.
Okay, but that horse wasn't like, he didn't like tumble out of the womb and was like, get on my back, oh little old Peter.
Not that you know of. So he gets on his horse. Back in Black plays AC/DC over them riding off into the sunset.
Integral
back
part of
towards
the
home.
story.
Yes, very important. Du Bois. Oh, no, sorry. Actually, it's Thinley. The boys are back in town.
No, it's Back in Black. And I go back in black.
Nope. Nope.
You only said goodbye in words. I'm doing the Amy Winehouse version. I died
a different
100
song.
times.
AC/DC covering
You
Amy
come
Winehouse.
back to me and I go back to black. And that's him like riding along sadly through the plains of regret.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't think of the AC/DC version. I only know
'Cause I'm back in black.
That song almost killed Max.
I almost died.
She almost fell off her stool.
I was doing air guitar too hard.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to say to the paramedics, and they're not going to believe me.
No. So he continues on the road back towards home. Mm-hmm. He rides and rides and rides through the plains of regret. And he's like, I'm already full of regrets. Whatever. He rides until he gets to the Copper Castle. Mm-hmm. And he rides up to the door and he sees that all around the castle, the lush forest that was there before has all withered away and died. And the mountains that rose up around the Copper Palace before have all been worn down to hillocks, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes to the Copper Palace and he sees that there's like one gnarled old tree outside that has like one branch left on it. Mm. And he goes up to the Copper Palace and he knocks on the front door and it makes like a resounding metallic sound. And a very, very old woman opens the door. And as she does so, the opening of the door causes a slight breeze, which makes that last branch snap off of the tree. And she dies right in front of him.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. And he's like, well, shit. And so he like bundles her up and buries her outside of the palace. He's like, well.
Does he have a kid there?
He continues riding.
Okay. That's so shocking.
Yeah, right? And he rides for, I assume, 8 years. Mm-hmm. And he gets to the one that got away, the queen of all the birds that fly.
Yeah.
He gets to her palace. And the same as the Copper Princess, the like woods around her home have all been broken down to twigs. And he sees that there's like one tree remaining. And she's standing outside and like very carefully, like, she's like, she has to whittle it, but she's trying to do it like as little as possible, right? But he sees that she's like close to being done with it, and he's like, oh, she doesn't have long left. So he comes up to her and he's like, hey there. And she's like, oh, hi, little Peter. And he's like, not so little anymore. And she's like, oh, you look as young as ever. And he's like, so do you. And she's like, well, I always knew you'd come back. And she steps forward and she steps through the branch and like it cracks off of the tree and to the ground, and then she immediately ages 1,000,000 years and dies. And he's like, oh no. Nuts.
Oh,
yikes. So he buries her and he gets back on his horse.
I would say after aging 1,000,000 years, you don't have to bury them. They just turn to dust in the wind.
Writing the whole soundtrack for the story. So he continues riding, and finally he gets to the place where his father's castle stood, and he is shocked to see that little boy Wind was right.
I'm shocked to see that. You just watched two women turn to dust.
Janey. Yeah. He gets to the place where his father's castle once stood, and there is nothing there. There is no sign that there ever was anything there. It's not a ruin. It is just like an overgrown patch of woods that is indistinguishable from the areas around it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I know that this is the place, and there's nothing here. And he sinks to his knees and starts to cry, and he like sort of cries himself out, and then he sort of walks around forlornly looking for any sign of, you know, the home that he used to have. And he finally finds this sort of like crooked, weathered circle of stones, and he realizes that this is what remains of his father's well. Mm. And he like sits by the well, like with his back up against the stones, and is just like, well, what the fuck do I do now?
Well.
He says, well. And out of the well jumps his little sister.
Oh, Shovel Teeth!
The witch.
Oh my god.
She's a witch now. And she says to him, I've waited a long time for you, dog. And she leaps towards him, teeth first, to devour him. And he screams, and he does the sign of the cross, and she falls down dead.
That's all anybody had to do?
Nobody thought of that for 1,000,000 years.
Just for 1,000,000 years been terrorizing people?
She's been in the well waiting for her stupid big brother to come back so she can eat him alive.
But why? He didn't do anything to her. He didn't even rat her out. Okay.
Because she's evil, Janey.
Okay. All Shovel Teeth.
So little Peter's like, oh, that was weird. And he gets up and keeps walking around. And eventually he comes across an old man. Mm-hmm. This man is so old that he has a white beard.
Wait, that's it?
What?
That's it? That's the only interaction they're going to have?
Yeah.
The story is about her. Okay, go ahead.
He continues walking. He comes across an old man who, he's so old, he has this white beard that hangs so low that he has to tuck it into his belt, right? And little Peter is like, well, if anyone remembers my father's castle, it will be this man. So he goes to the old man and he says, old man, where is the palace of the Red King? I am his son. And the old man says, ooh, my father's father told me of the Red King. His city is no more. Can't you see it has vanished? And yet you tell me that you are the Red King's son.
Can you imagine?
Young man.
Can you imagine knowing my father's father told me about this after 1,000,000 years?
Yeah.
How old was your father's father?
I don't know. It could be like, it could just be like a story that was like, oh, a long time ago in this place, there used to be a castle or whatever. I don't know.
We don't tell
1,000,000 years.
Ancient Sumerian folktales regularly.
We literally do.
Not regularly. As a society, we don't do
literally
that.
do. Yeah, no, I think that 1,000,000 is not a correct metric for how long has passed. I feel like it's like a couple hundred.
Okay.
But they keep saying 1,000,000, so 1,000,000, whatever. The earth is different now. So the old man is like, there's no way that you're the Red King's son. And little Peter's like, well, I am, and I can prove it. And he and the old man walk to the border of the kingdom, and he finds a little, like, rounded off, weathered bit of stone sticking up above the ground. And he recognizes this as the very top of the cross that he planted over all the money that he stored away.
Oh, okay.
And only like a palm's width of the cross is still sticking above the ground. Everything else has been buried. And so he and the old man take shovels that they have, I guess, and they start to dig into the ground.
They pluck them out of his sister's mouth.
Maybe.
Old
Honestly.
Shovel Teeth's mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. They dig, and it takes them 2 days to dig down to where the shallowly buried money was from 1,000,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Takes them 2 whole days to get down there. But finally they reach this like cask that he put the money in. And he's like, see, I put this here. So you know that this is real. You know, I couldn't have possibly faked this. This has been here for thousands of years or whatever. And the old man is like, well, we'll see what's inside of the chest. And he opens the chest. And inside of the chest are the figures of old age and death, who are both on opposite corners of this like box. And they both look so tired. And they both they're like both just groaning, and they sort of lazily like look up and they're like, oh, he's here. Oh, little Peter's here. And old age says, lay hold of him, Death. And Death says, lay hold of him yourself. And then the two of them sort of like arduously crawl up out of the hole, and old age laid hold of him in front, and Death laid hold of him behind. And little Peter died. The old man took and buried him decently and planted the cross near him. And then the old man took the money and also the horse. The end.
The horse got to stay alive?
Guess so.
Oh, Death and old age forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
Immortal
they were honestly
horse.
just glad to be done with it. They were like, we just been fucking waiting here for...
The true hero of this tale is the horse.
The horse.
Wow. What a fucking weird story.
Yeah, a weird one.
I was afraid the money wouldn't come back. That's so weird that they were in there with it.
Yeah. So I think that the moral of this story, right?
Okay.
Is initially he's competing for half of the kingdom, right? And he wants to make his father proud, and then he sees like the horrors that the world can wreak upon you. And he's like, I'm fucking out. I don't want any part of this. And then he goes off to get married, ostensibly. But he goes so far to get married that like 8 years have passed. And then he meets someone who's like, I want to marry you. I have basically everything that you're looking for. And he's like, not good enough. And he keeps writing for 8 more years. And he meets someone who's like, I literally have everything you're looking for. Let's get married. And he's like, not good enough. And continues riding. And he rides through the plains of regret. So he doesn't have to like think about anything that he's done or like the time that he's wasted.
Yeah.
And he gets to this cab. This is all me like postulating into allegory a little bit. He gets to this cabin with a little boy, and he's like, oh, we can just hang out forever. Like, I don't need to be married. I'll just live forever with this little boy and do whatever I want.
On to my youth.
Yeah, exactly. Where he just never has to grow up or have any responsibilities or do anything.
This is really a cautionary tale to not be that guy that sticks around and hangs out at your high school after you've graduated.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yes.
And then on the way back, he's like so sure that he's still going to have all of these options open to him. And time has passed and he doesn't have the options that he had before. And in fact, he doesn't have any options and he's missed out on his entire life because he spent the whole time like seeking something and then never being satisfied with what he found. And then he like gets home and it's like, oh, there's this like battle that's been millennia in the making. And it's like, okay, but you're both really old and like there's been no buildup whatsoever.
Yeah, so all of those like grudges and stuff you've held on to, it's just kind of over.
It's just kind of over. And like, oh, you were so smart. You like saved up all that money. You hid it away. But also for that whole time you didn't have money. And you're coming back and like your kingdom is gone. The currency is probably not used anymore. Like, sure, you can get there. You can dig out the money. But like, what are you going to do with it? You know?
Yeah. And then in the end, death and old age are going to find you anyway.
Yeah. And he's done fucking nothing with his life. Anyways, I think that this is
this is the tale that mothers are telling their 36-year-old sons who still live in their basement.
Yes, 100%. Where I think that that's the moral, is that it's like,
it's a really good interpretation.
Yeah. Like, just riding, he's fucking 44 when he gets to, like, the point where he gets to hang out with a little boy, and it's like, is that really...
This is
all you wanted for yourself?
This is the tale for adults. This is really is. It's a fairy tale for adults.
I think so.
That is interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and also I think it's also into like the lack of this is going to sound super judgmental.
Yeah.
But like the lack of aspiration, like he knew that his family was being beset by a witch who was his baby sister and that they were going to starve if they couldn't get some food eventually. And he was like, I'm out. And it wasn't like, I'm out so I can go get strong and come back.
I thought that's what that was going to be.
Nope. It was just like, he's like, I don't want to deal with this. And he left and didn't fucking think about it again until he was like, I'm not happy here. What should I go back to? And he came up with it like, he went into the valley of grief and was like, oh, maybe I was a bad son. And like... actually has to think about his family for the first time and then goes back and is like, no, it's a noble quest and I'm going to do this.
Well, I will say skipping over regret and going straight to grief feels like a woe is me versus I have regrets.
Exactly.
Know?
Yeah.
Like there's a real big difference between feeling sad and feeling sorry. You know, and I feel like he skipped the feeling sorry part, which is why he was so confident he can go back.
Yeah, and also why he didn't care when the little boy Wind told him that he's like, your family's gone. And he's like, no, because that doesn't serve my narrative. Like, it
doesn't serve it.
It doesn't serve my narrative. So,
yeah. That's a really cool interpretation.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right.
I hope so.
It's interesting.
But that's kind of the meaning that I projected onto this. This is a weird folktale. I wasn't able to find much about it, especially because there is that book that was written by Ruth Manning Sanders. So all of the results that I got were of her book. This isn't a very well-known folktale besides that, from what I can tell. Yeah, this is a pretty little-known folktale. Francis Hines Groom, who said that this was one of the most unique stories in his collection. Yeah. He talks about, like, specifically the motif of doing a somersault to turn into a monster is something that you don't see anywhere except in these so-called gypsy folktales and stuff like that, where that's a recurring motif specific to that.
Well, traveling, a lot of them were like, a lot of people were traveling entertainers too, right? So I would say like acrobatics and stuff like that would come into play with a lot of storytelling. I feel like that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
So because this story is from Romania, I think it is fair to assume that the people in this story are Romani. So this would be a Romani story and not just a quote-unquote gypsy folktale, which I would posit means that the Romani invented the first magical girl transformation sequence to turn into a monster.
Hot girl shit.
I love that.
Hot girl shit.
I love it.
Yeah, this little shovel face walked so that Fiona could run.
Yes, bitch. Also, just a weird minor note, I was like, the Red King feels like it should be like a significant character or something like that. Like they keep mentioning the name of the Red King and they don't really explain it. The only evidence that I could find on like who the Red King is, obviously there is the Red King in cards, which is the diamond and hearts on a deck of cards, which would kind of make sense for Romani people who use cards for a lot of different things. The king is also, I found out, the oldest suit in the standard playing card deck. It goes back to like almost basically like early history, which is pretty interesting. The Red King is also a term that's used in alchemy. The Red King is the figure of masculinity and of like fire and wind and of sulfur is like the alchemical element that is associated with it. The Red King, this like masculine figure who is also associated with like the sun and like power and all that. He is married to the white or the silver queen, who is Mercury, who is like cool and flowing, and she represents like the earth and the water and everything. So that is a cool thing. I have a picture for you of the depiction of the marriage of the Red King and the White Queen in alchemy.
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. It's like a little medieval drawing of a fancy yellow king standing on a sun and a fancy silver queen standing on a little moon. And the moon is looking up her dress.
Oh my god.
Oh! Okay. Guys, I'm gonna put this on the Instagram. That moon is perving.
Hey, moon. And the sun is not saying anything. He's
Sun's
like, I don't want to deal with this.
Not my pig, not my farm.
And then I have a bunch of illustrations from the book written by Ruth Manning Sanders. Mm-hmm. These are illustrated by Victor Ambrose, and his illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. They're very beautiful, like watercolor style 70s illustrations. So if you want to just go through them, you can scroll this way. And none of these are, I don't think, for this story. But
they are beautiful little watercolor illustrations. I'm going to put these up on the Instagram too. These are gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It's a very specific it's a watercolor style I've never seen before.
I like the dragon a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of bright reds and yellows.
And like ochre and...
Yeah, and like kind of muted greens and like ultramarine blues. I love these. Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Fairy tale illustrations. Yeah, I'm going to put all these up here so that you can see these. They're fucking fantastic.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
This book is really hard to find in print. And if I had like $80, I would have it, but...
And we don't have 80.
No, we don't have $80.
But you can give us 7.
You can give us 7 if you want to. And that's the story. That's the Red King and the Witch.
Fantastic. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked the message at the end. I like your interpretation of it a lot. It's something we've never come across before.
Yeah.
I'm going to be thinking about that for a while.
Yeah. And it's the interesting thing to me is that like the story isn't like, and he's failed and that's the lesson.
No.
The story is like, oh, and he like completed his quest and now the old man gets gold. And it kind of treats it a little bit like a success in its own right, but in a way that's very much like,
well, it's he did hooray. What he set out to do.
Yeah.
And it's not satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. Cool. You want to tell me a story?
I really do. Let's take a little break first.
Let's do that.
Get some more tea.
Tea.
Okay, bye. We'll be right back. Bye. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janey.
Max, okay. Today I am going to confront a fear of mine.
Oh.
With a book called Tales of the Seal People. Scottish folk tales. I got this book because it's beautiful and because I genuinely do love Silkie stories. I loved him before I became afraid of seals, and then I had a nightmare in Vietnam. Now I'm so afraid of seals. Now I'm so afraid of seals that I can't look at a picture of them without my heart rate fucking going crazy. So that's not great. But this is a beautiful little book by Duncan Williamson, and I am genuinely obsessed with the way this person writes. In a way, Duncan Williamson writes in a way I have never experienced before. Just really, really good. He was born in 1928 in Scotland, in Loch Fyne. He was the 7th of 16 children. He kind of tells his story throughout the book. Before every story, you get an insight. He writes a little paragraph, the same way that J.J. Renaud does. He writes a paragraph over who told me the story, because they're all stories he grew up hearing in Scotland about Selkies. Like, so he was a folklorist, but this book is specifically every story he's ever heard about the seal people in their very, like, various forms and their various, like, moods. And it's beautiful, if not deeply terrifying. And he left home at 15 because he realized that, like, his family would do better if he wasn't around because they were kind of struggling. And he kind of, like, he apprenticed with a blacksmith for a while, and he just lived this, like, idyllic little Scottish life, and he collected folklore along the way. Anyway, that's what this book is. It's wonderful.
I like it.
I can't recommend it enough, but it is scary.
This book officially gets Janey's seal of approval.
What? excited squeak.
It sounded like a harpy.
Okay. What you should know is we say Silkie, and that is a term, of course, but he uses the term Silkie. It's the exact same thing, just like a region kind of term. Mm-hmm. So he says Silkie. So I'll be saying Silkie in this. But Silkie just means seal. So the story I'm going to tell you, I read a couple from here, and I loved all of them. The story I'm going to tell you is The Silkie Painter.
Hold me closer, Silkie Painter.
That was from Silkie John.
Yeah.
I'm going to describe this a little bit later, but he heard this when he was 15. He had just left home from a man named Neil McCallum. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more at the end of the story. And once again, I'd like to apologize for my voice.
You should apologize more for it.
I'm so sorry. So the first line is, many years ago on the West Coast, there lived an old fisherman and his wife. That's where we start. They lived in a little cottage on the shore by the sea, and every day the fisherman would set out his nets, and whatever he and his wife didn't eat, he would sell in the little village nearby. And the little village only had a post office, one hotel, which I'm sure it was like a hotel. I'm sure it wasn't like a giant conglomerate.
Oh, like a B&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a small police station, and everybody knew everyone in this little village. The old woman kept a couple of goats and some hens, and she would sell milk and eggs in the village. And so they just lived this very idyllic little life, and it was just the two of them. It was so idyllic, and they had so many, they just knew everybody. They had friends everywhere. This old man only had one enemy. Seals. He
relatable to Janey.
hated seals. He hated the seals because he was a fisherman and because the seals were nuisances. They would tear holes in his nets, which were kind of, according to another story, they were kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And whenever he would catch fish, the seals would be like, yeah! They'd run up and just start fucking chewing holes in his nets and then stealing all the best fish for themselves. And he was like, oh, fucking seals. Like every day just shake his fist at seals.
Oh, fucking seals.
Fucking seals. The old man complained constantly about how terrible they were and how he hated all of them so much. And every day he was like, I wish that we could just get rid of them all. And he would say to his wife, quote, I wish to God they would clear out and never come back. I hate these terrible beasties. And his wife, who was extremely kind and caring, just like a very sweet woman, would say, well, John, they have to live just the same as everyone else.
True.
Yeah. Max is the wife in the story, and I am John.
Fucking seal!
Fucking seals! In her spare time, the old woman, whose name was Mary, their names are Mary and John, she would go walking along the shore, and she would gather seaweed. They called it dulce, D-U-L-S-E, dulce. She would collect big, thick tangles of it, and she would stack it up to dry. And afterwards, she would sell it to a man who would send them away to have, perfume made from it. And then the story said, quote, or whatever.
Or whatever.
I assume he's making perfume, but maybe he's a fucking weirdo doing something weird to it. Not my business. So one day, Mary was walking along the shore, and she was wearing this big rubber apron that covered her legs, and basically that just meant, it kept her from getting wet as she pulled up the seaweed. When she came to, a rock, and behind the rock, Mary was surprised to see a newborn baby seal. It was, 2 or 3 days old. It was very small.
Oh, so round.
And round. At first, she looked around to see if there was other seals nearby. She's like, oh, who lost their baby? Where is it? But there's nothing else around. This baby was by itself. And she was like, okay, I better leave it where it is. I'm sure it'll be fine. Nature has a way. Maybe somebody will come back for it. And then she started to walk away. And then she was like, what if nobody comes back for it? I've never seen a baby seal by itself. What if it's lost? And then she came back and she picked it up and she's like, okay, well, you're coming home with me. You're my baby.
If you learn nothing else from this podcast, hey, everyone, if you find a baby animal in close to where it's supposed to live, don't touch it. Don't pick it up. Unless it's injured in some way, don't fucking touch it. Because where there are baby animals, there are adult animals who will kill you if you touch their baby. Yeah. 90% of the time, don't touch them.
And you don't want to get killed by a seal. They're ruthless.
Yeah, they're horrible.
So scary.
They scare Janey so bad.
Yeah, please don't touch a seal. There's a place is it Iceland or Norway? I think it's Norway, where there are these like little baby puffkins, I think, who, when you see them, like they just show, there's a video of people walking around and just taking puffkins and fucking yeeting them off cliffs. They're like, get out of here, because the puffkins will get lost. And so when you see those babies, it's like the whole town will get together to yeet them off of cliffs and into the air, because the babies, they're supposed to be flying, and if they don't fly and if they don't get out of there, they will die during the winter, but they get fucking distracted if they land on the ground, and then they'll just stay there and die. So like people are just like, oh, there's another one, yeet.
What's a puffkin?
It's like a little puffkin. Anyway.
That doesn't help me at all. What's a puffkin?
It's like a little round baby penguin-like bird that flies.
Like a puffin?
I don't know if it actually is maybe it's a puffin, maybe it's not a puffkin. Maybe that's what the babies are called.
I don't know
what
most
that
of that
is.
story, I thought that a puffkin was a term for a baby seal, which I should have known better because a baby seal is called a pup. But I thought you were like, and then you throw them into the air over the cliffs because that's where they belong. I was like, I don't know if you saw my face change. You were like, they need to be in the air, and I was like, wait, I don't think they do.
Okay, I could be wrong about what it is, and also I guess I made up the term puffkin, but
it's a really cute
I think it's
term.
a baby puffin. I think the babies should be called puffkins.
They might be. Puffling.
A little push pin. Okay. Anyway, that's the only baby that you could pick up and throw. Okay.
And only in certain areas.
So she came back and she picked up the little baby seal and she scooped it up in her apron and she walked on home. When she got up to her cottage, John was pulling up the boat. He was already in the middle of ranting and raging about how fucking terrible all seals were and how they had been, at his nets and making so many holes and eating all the good fish. And he told her that he was like, I want to get a gun. I want to shoot them all. That's what I want to do. I just want to clear them out. And she said, John, I don't like you shooting seals. And he's like, what? And he's just like grumbling and angry. She's like, come on inside and we're going to have a cup of tea. Like, you'll be fine. And so they walked into the house and then he looked over and he's like, what do you have in your apron? And she's like, John, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to level with you. I have a seal in this apron. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? And he's incensed. He's like, you brought a seal into our home where we sleep? This would be me.
This is you.
I would have to burn the house down. I couldn't stay in the home anymore. I'd have so many nightmares. So she was like, listen, it lost its mother, and I'm going to take care of it until it's big enough that we can put it back in the sea. That's what we're going to do, okay? And he's like, no, we're not. If you want, you can get a big stick and you can bash its head in so it doesn't grow up to be like a big seal
John.
And eating my nets. But that's it. That's the only thing I'll accept. There absolutely will not be another seal. There will not be a seal in this house.
Pan over to her with like 6 baby seals on a couch.
He's like, she's going...
We will not have another seal.
He's like, it's going to grow up and it's going to chew on my nets and it's going to drive me crazy. And she's like, okay, well, if that happens, it happens, but I'm not going to hurt this baby seal. So she made a little bed for the seal out of a basket and some straw.
Oh my God.
And she set the bed next to the fireplace to keep the little seal warm. And I don't know if you're supposed to do that.
I don't feel like you are. I think
seal
they like
oil,
it to be cold.
I feel like is very flammable.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why people hunt seals.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, I'm suspending my disbelief for this story, okay? Then she went and she got one of the bottles that she used to feed the baby goats, and she filled it with goat milk, and she let the seal eat it until it was full and happy. And then John came in and watched the seal, and he said, quote, now, woman, you know that I don't like these animals, and I just can't have you having it here. But John had no power here.
No.
And so the seal stayed.
Yeah.
John carried on like usual, fishing and complaining, and Mary carried on like usual, doing her jobs and taking care of her little baby seal. 3 or 4 months passed, and the seal started to grow, which is a nightmare. It began to follow Mary everywhere she went, like a little dog, honking happily.
Slap, slap, slap,
Slap, slap, slap, honk, honk, honk. It loved her dearly, but the old man still couldn't stand it. He couldn't even look at it, that fucking seal. The bane of his existence.
I'm really hoping that this ends with the like,
Dad didn't want a cat.
Yeah, Dad, I don't want a goddamn dog in my house. And it's like Dad and the dog is just wrapped up in a blanket, like being held like a baby, fed bacon.
Yeah. Time passed, and soon it was spring. The seal was nearly fully grown, and Mary loved it so much. Like, she'd never loved anything in her whole life. Like, this little seal was just her favorite. But she was still planning on, like, putting it back in the ocean, obviously. Which...
Stronger than me.
The seal belongs in the ocean. How is it surviving not in the ocean? Okay.
They're not fish.
Yeah, but they live in the ocean. They don't live on land in houses.
They live equal parts in the ocean and on land.
Equal parts?
Equal parts.
Wild.
They beach themselves.
One evening. Hey, beach.
This baby's job is beach.
Oh. This baby's job is beach. One evening, they were sitting at their supper when they heard a knock at the door. Mary went and opened the door, and she saw a nice-looking young man there, looking like he was in his 20s, right? And he told Mary, quote, "Well, ma'am, to tell you the truth, I came up from the village, and they told me I'm looking for a room to rent. And they told me in the village that sometimes you and your husband rent a room to people for 2 or 3 weeks in the summertime." So this is kind of how, I put some quotes in here. This is kind of how Duncan Williamson writes. He said that he tries really hard, like when he remembers these stories, he remembers exactly the way people tell them. He's like, I have such strong visceral memories of people telling me these stories, and every single person had a very specific way of talking. And so he tried to write it in the way that they told the stories, basically. Mm-hmm. And so we get a lot of repeated phrases. We get especially when they get excited, or when they cut themselves off and start a new sentence. And I think it's really interesting. Yeah. And it's still very readable. I'm really impressed with it.
Like a very organic speech pattern.
Yeah. But this young man shows up and he seems a little nervous, right? And he's like, I heard that you rent rooms out. And she's like, yeah, we do. And he's like, well, could I rent a room from you for a few weeks? Would that be okay? And she and her husband were like, yeah, of course, come on in. Like, you are welcome to stay here. They tell him the price of the room, and he's like, yeah, that's fine. That works really well for me. He told them that his name was Ian and that he was an artist. He's like, I actually came to this village to do some landscape paintings. That's why I'm here, and I wanted to be near the ocean. And so Mary was like, okay, if you want, you can have all of your meals with us. And he's like, yeah, that would be great. He's very, very polite, a very nice-looking young man, but Mary instantly started to feel a little odd around him. She noticed that even though he was very friendly with them, he never so much as glanced at the seal in the basket. They have like almost a fully grown seal in their living room.
At this point, like a drum.
Yeah, right? And like, he's not making any eye contact with the seal. This would be me, though, in the house. I'd be like, I'm ignoring that nightmare in the corner. And she's like,
you wouldn't be there in the first... You would walk in and be like, I need a room. And they would be like, it's free and you can eat all of your meals here. And then you look behind them and you see a seal and you're like, never mind.
I can never sleep again.
I'll sleep outside.
No, the seals are there, Max.
But they're also inside. So what are you going to do?
The hotel.
What hotel?
There's one hotel, remember?
I thought their place was the hotel.
No.
What?
No, there's a hotel. There's a small hotel in town, but he said specifically that he wanted to stay in their house. Like, I think that he wanted to be closer to the sea so he could just look out the window. While he was sitting at the table, she had this growing feeling that something very odd was happening. He was acting normal, but to her, something felt off. And she kept staring at him a little bit because she's like, he looks familiar. There's something weird about him. He looks so familiar. Like maybe something in the eyes, but like she really couldn't think of what connection that could be. She's like, I feel like I know this guy. And as she's trying to figure out why she feels so weird about this kid, John and this young man are talking and cracking jokes, and they're having the best time. And old John immediately feels a connection with Ian. He told Ian about his trouble with the seals. He's like, these fucking seals are eating my nets and they're just so bad, whatever. And he's like, I wish something could be done about the seals around the bay so I could do more fishing in peace. And at this point, Mary cuts in and she says, you're always getting down upon the poor seals. I'm sure they have their time too. They must live just the same as everybody else. She like shook her head and she's like, ignore me. And Ian's like, I'm just happy to be here. Like, I'm having a great time. You guys' house is beautiful. And so she takes him to his room. And as she takes him upstairs, he's like, thank you. The room is perfect. Like, this is like, I swear I won't be a bother. I'm very clean. But as she's like getting him all settled in, she notices he doesn't have any luggage. He's carrying one thing only. It is a small parcel that is under his arm. And that's all he has. And she's like,
no, like paints or
that's
anything? Weird.
Well, yeah. Maybe the little parcel has paints and it's like a package. They don't mention it. Ian closes the door. That night, after they heard him close his door and all was quiet, the seal suddenly jumped out of the basket and, quote, started honk-honk-honk around the floor. I said, okay, that is very cute.
That's so cute.
Honk-honk-honk. The old man was startled and was like, what the hell is it doing? And even the old woman was like, oh my God, what's wrong?
Oh, he's got the zoomies.
She'd never seen it get that excited before. It suddenly got the zoomies. And so she managed to calm it down and get it quiet. And after talking for a bit longer with her husband, eventually they went to sleep. The next morning at breakfast, Ian asked John if he wouldn't mind letting him tag along when he went fishing. He's like, I just want to see how it's done. I've never been out before. Would you mind having a companion? And John was like, yeah, absolutely. John was like excited. He's like, I'd love to have the company. Usually I'm by myself. He's like, have you ever rowed a boat before? And Ian's like, I haven't, but I learned quickly. I bet I could do it. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll teach you. And like John suddenly having like a young man to teach how to do stuff, like this made me want to cry. John loves this guy. Like it's immediate. So after breakfast, the two went down to the boats, and John showed him everything and taught him all about it. And he was like, these are the nets with all the holes in them, these goddamn seals.
And then we shake our fists at this guy like this.
You have to put your fist higher and say, seals. The young man listened to this, but he didn't reply to any of this. And he was there for about a week. He had his meals in the house, and every morning he would kind of walk out, and he would be out all day. And sometimes he didn't come back until like late at night. But one night, John was like, hey, if you don't have anything planned tomorrow, do you want to keep me company again? He's like, I really want to row out kind of far, like farther than I've ever been before. And since you're here, I could use your help. And Ian enthusiastically agrees. He's like, yeah, of course. So the next day after breakfast, the two said goodbye to Mary and they left. Ian, this whole time, has treated Mary very casually, which I think here means like politely, right? Yeah. He's like respectful and he treats her like the host of an inn. But he clearly loves John. Anything the old man asked, Ian agrees to. And John is the exact same with Ian. There's just this instant connection. Like they make each other laugh and they are just very easy around each other. Like father and son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every night, when the young man had gone to sleep and the old people would be sitting by the fire, John would tell Mary, quote, my, such a nice young man that. I wish we had a son like him. What a young, strong, powerful man. And you want to see him rowing a boat. Like, oh my God, he's so good at rowing boats. Like he immediately caught on to it. He was so fast. And like, he just only has good things to say. He's like bragging about this guy. He's so proud of him. And he loves that he got to teach him things. Like, it's just, so John's cute. Breaking my heart. So that morning, when they went out fishing together, the two men put the net in the boat and they rowed way, way out, farther than John had ever been before. And at first, everything was fine. But after a while, the sky began to change and John immediately was like, I feel like, I hope it doesn't start storming. Like that came out of nowhere. And no sooner had he voiced his concern that a storm might be coming, that it started to rain and the wind began to pick up. They were about 1.5 miles away from the beach. And the net was out already. And so it was like really rough. Like they could barely start making their way back. And John told Ian to take one oar and he'd take the other and they'd row as fast as they possibly could. Because he's like, we need to get out of this now. So they rowed as hard as they could. But eventually the waves got too rough for them and their boat was overturned. And the two men fell into the rough waters. And John started to shout, quote, Ian, this way, Ian, grab an oar, Ian, try to keep yourself afloat, grab an oar, try to keep yourself afloat. So the old man got a hold of one of the oars and he began to swim with one hand, but he's like frantically looking around him because he realizes that Ian is gone and he's like, no. And he's like screaming for him and he's trying to make his way around, but also he can see land in the distance, but the waters are so rough and he's having to swim harder and harder against the storm. And he's also like an older man, like he is exhausted and he's like, I'm not going to make it. Like, oh my God. And so he lost his grip on the oar and he was just about to sink into the water when he felt something come up under him. And he put his hand down thinking it was a bit of like floating wood. And he realized instantly that it wasn't wood. It was a big furry seal.
Aw.
No, I wrote nightmare. This is my nightmare. Take me now, Lord. The seal came up under him and he was able to put 2 arms around its neck. Then the seal began to race back to the shore. Quote, right to the beach, and the old man's clinging onto the seal, fairly exhausted, clinging onto the seal. When it couldn't go any farther, the old man let go and crawled up to the shore on his hands and knees, coughing and exhausted, and the seal turned back and dove back into the sea. By now, Mary had come out to the shore to look for their boat because the storm had picked up so suddenly, and when she saw John on all fours, sputtering, his feet still in the water, she raced down and she pulled him up, and she's like, what happened? What's going on? And all he would say is, Ian is gone. The storm caught us and the boat capsized and Ian is gone. We'll never see him again. He's gone.
No.
So she brought him back up to their home. And she made him take off his wet clothes, and she wrapped him in a blanket and sat him next to the fire and gave him a drink of whiskey. But still, all he would say over and over again is, Ian is gone. We're never going to see Ian again. So finally, he calmed down and she got him to tell her what had happened. He told her that when he was sure he was about to die, a seal had come and saved his life. And he said, quote, "It came up below me and I put my arms around it. And would you believe it, Mary? After all the things I've said about these animals, it saved my life."
Aww.
He promised to never say another angry word against a seal again. He was grateful to be alive. You won't think that, John, when it starts fucking biting you to death. The next morning, can't trust him, Max. The next morning, he went down to the little police station in the village and he reported Ian missing. There was only one constable that stayed in the village, so he was the one who took the report. They have one guy. Then John went to the hotel in the village and he was like, "Hey, Ian mentioned that he has stopped by here before. Like, does anybody know anything about him?" And as he's like talking about him, everyone's looking at each other like, "No, have you seen anybody mention that description? Not me." And he talks to everybody he can think of. Nobody knows what he's talking about. They don't recognize the name. They don't recognize the description. They're like, nobody new has come through this village. It didn't take long for John to learn that nobody has suggested he go stay with John and Mary in the first place. Like, that story just didn't check out. So John walked home and he told Mary about it. She shook her head saying, "Somebody must have seen him somewhere about the village when he first came here." And John was like, "No, they hadn't. It was like a complete mystery." So soon the policeman arrived on his bicycle to talk to the old couple about the missing young man. John explained everything that happened, leaving out the bit of him being rescued by a seal. He's like, "That's nobody's business but my own."
That's between me and that seal. and my wife.
And my wife. And maybe the seal's wife. And the officer was like, "Well, how long had Ian been staying here?" And John said, "Well, he had been here. He was with us for about 10 days. Such a nice boy, too. Such a beautiful young man. Such a handsome young man. We got on so well together. He was just like a son to me. And I'm going to miss him terribly."
Aww.
So the officer was like, "Can I have a look in his room and see if maybe I can go through some of his stuff? Like maybe he left an address or like some way to get into touch, with his family." So the old couple took him upstairs. When they walked in, the bed was made exactly how Mary had made it the first time. It looked like it hadn't been slept in at all. And there was no luggage, of course. There was no cases, no parcels. It was empty. Except in the far corner next to the window. In that corner, there was a picture frame, and it had like a canvas inside of it. But the back of it was turned to the room, and so the front was facing out the window. The old man walked over and said, "This is what he's been working on the whole time." And when he turned it around, he like gasped and stepped back. And he was like, "Mary, you got to see this." This is the description. They turned the picture around. There was the most beautiful picture you'd ever seen in your life. The picture of an old woman gathering dulce on the shore. Old Mary the way she was. Exactly as if you were looking at the old woman herself, picking up a baby seal from among the dulce.
Aww.
John asked Mary he's like, "How could Ian have painted this? He wasn't even there." And she was like, "Well, I told him the story. He probably just did it from his imagination." But it was like so accurate to everything she'd been wearing. With no leads as to who he was, there wasn't much the police could do about this missing young man. And here's the last paragraph. But time passed by, and there was never another word about the man. Young Ian's body was never found. About a week after that, the old man and woman carried the seal down to the shore, put it back in the tide, and away the seal went. But there was never another word about Ian, and the old man never again complained about seals. And whenever the old woman went down to gather her seaweed along the shore, she would look out and smile to herself and say, "Well, Ian, you've finally proven your point." She knew he'd been a Silkie.
Aww.
Like the whole time she had figured it out from the beginning.
Aww. That's so cute.
The end.
I like that there's a lot of implication. They're like implying that Ian is probably a Silkie. Like there's evidence to suggest, but they're not outright like he definitely is, right? Mm-hmm. I also like that there is no evidence to suggest that the seal that she found is a Silkie.
No, it's just a normal seal. That's just a baby seal.
I really thought it was going to be like, oh, and that's like his sister or something like that. No,
that's just a baby seal.
Just hanging out, honking.
Honk-honk-honking. Okay.
You're my mom. Honk, honk.
You're my mom. Honky, honky, honky. Don't call her honky. Okay. So Duncan Williamson heard this story from a stonemason he apprenticed with when he was 15, a man named Neil McCallum. And he says, quote, "The Highlanders were a very close-knitted kind of folk and didn't go telling the whole world about their stories and tales and cracks because people would have thought they were crazy." But Neil swore that his great-great-grandmother told him this one because she had the picture in her house. So he was like, no, this is real. I've seen the picture.
Oh my God. And his grandma is Mary.
His great-great-grandma. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love that. That little bit gave me a little chills.
That's a good story.
Yeah. Selkies or Silkies and many other pronunciations, just for people who don't know, even though you probably have gathered it by now, they're mythological Scottish creatures that can shift from human to seal form. They have a dual nature. They can be friendly or helpful to humans like this story, but they can also be vengeful and dangerous, as can all seals. Remember that. In his introduction, which is fantastic, he gives a lot of like old Scottish lore around Selkies, but also seals in general. Like he says that his grandmother had a piece of seal skin and that it could predict the weather. He said that an old thing that people would do is they would have like a piece of seal skin, like basically on a windowsill or in their house, and the hair on the thing would stand straight up if bad weather was coming, and if good weather was coming, it would be down. So it was like a way for them to predict the weather and whether or not they should go out on their boats.
That makes sense and is so cool.
Yeah. So he talked a little bit about Selkies and about what, you know, the myths and what people believed and how they could turn into beautiful women, some of them, and how you could marry some of them and all this stuff. But he said that the importance of the Silkie myth in general is how they play into people's idea of the afterlife. And he said, imagine basically that your father or your uncle or your brother has been lost to sea and they never found the body. He says, how terrible would it be to know that they never got a decent burial, that they never received their final prayers in like an extremely Catholic society, like not getting their last rites would be devastating, that their body was just lying out there in the sea all alone. He's like, that sucks. He said, quote, but if you thought for one instant that they were never returned because he had joined the seal people, he'd become one of them, how would you feel? There are many beautiful seal stories about people returning after 10 years lost at sea, but not one single day older. We believed that they had joined the seal people. So it was like, this is a comfort. And he also talked about how he was telling stories at an elementary school one time, and a little kid came up to him and was like, I really liked the story that you told about the seal people. And he was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, my dad was lost in that boating accident a couple years ago. There's like a really famous boating like accident where 2 people never came home. They just lost their bodies completely. And he's like, my dad was one of those bodies. And I was thinking maybe he's one of the seal people. And he was just like this little boy who was like, had this new hope, you know? Williamson believes the reason the legends were told was to comfort people whose loved ones were never found. He said, they'll probably join the seal people and you'll see them again.
Aw.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that take on Selkies and the seal people. Also, sometimes they're called the Finn folk.
Cute.
Which is fun. Anyway, I highly recommend you, if you like folklore, specifically Scottish folklore, this is a fucking phenomenal book. Every story in it was beautiful and written in such a specific way. And it's ethically sourced, and they're all kind of word of mouth stories. And I love them. You really get like the flavor of where he's bringing them from.
A question for you, Janey.
Yeah.
If I was lost at sea.
Oh my God.
Would you prefer?
No, I would prefer you were dead. So sorry. I will warn you, don't you ever come back as a seal. Would you still love me if I was a seal? No! I would try so hard.
What if I ran around the living room honking?
We already have that. Can't you come back as Francis? I'll love Francis.
Yeah, that's how I expected that question to go.
Guys, I'm so afraid of seals.
I know. You did so well. You didn't even cry once.
That's true. I was trying to find the scary ones. I was like, I'm going to tell one nice one, and they're going to be like, oh, Selkies are nice. But I'm going to find the scary one, and there's none. He likes seal people. There's one in here that's like, the Selkies' revenge. And it was just like a man, like, murdered a baby seal because he was a dick, and one seal was like watching him from the water and then like slowly went under the water, and then later on his wife died and he needed a nanny, and so a beautiful woman came in and she's like, I'll be your nanny, and then she like bonded with the kid, and he was like, you're bonding with her too much, like she doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. Also, you guys keep like whispering to each other and leaving me out of the conversation. Also, like, what's happening? Every time we have dinner up here and I'm the only one eating and you guys are pushing around your plate and acting like you can't wait for dinner to be over. Like, I don't like this. So eventually he took her out on a boat with his daughter, and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you. You're about to get fired because you're taking my daughter from me. Yeah. And
what? You took her out to sea to fire her?
Oh, well, I think he was just going to yell at her, but like in an intimidating place. And he goes, that's it. And he's like, you're taking my daughter from me. And he's like, well, I guess payback's a bitch. And then she like smiled at him, grabbed the little girl, and jumped into the sea with her.
What?
Because that was Cecile's mom. She's like, you took my kid, so see you later. Flipped him off and then jumped into the ocean.
Did the baby die?
I don't know if she turned her into a little Silkie. I didn't feel like she had killed her. I didn't get the impression that she wanted to murder a baby, but I did get the impression that she wanted to leave that man all alone.
Yeah, and he
shouldn't have a kid if he's going to kill baby animals. Also,
the fact that he brought a woman out to sea to intimidate her.
Right? Yeah.
That's a bad guy and he deserves that.
But
what other reason would there be for that to happen?
Exactly. You didn't have to bring her out fishing.
No. He was going to murder her. Like,
I don't know if he's going to murder her, but like, don't bring a woman out on a boat. The implication. Okay, Dennis.
You bring her out on the boat. There's an implication.
Oh, it's a really good It's Always Sunny reference. I appreciate it. Okay, well, that's it. Tales of the Seal People.
Really good.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You handled it really, really well.
Yeah.
Honk, honk, honk.
Honk, 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 indeed. Okay, guys, well, thank you for hanging out with us. And we hope you're having a good week. If you want to see pictures, there's no pictures in here, but there's a couple little, like, what looks like little block prints.
Oh, cute.
It's like a chubby little seal.
It kind of looks like a foot. Yeah, they're round, all right.
They're cute. These are cute little seal illustrations. They're just like little block prints. Think of like stamps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're all black, but with white lines. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I love it.
I'm gonna try to see. Oh, there is a little one. Hold on. These are little. The illustrations are little like stamp-like icons. They're clearly like woodcuts. And this one is, you have to stare at it a little bit, but it's an overturned boat in the sea.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so I'm going to put pictures of these books and all the stuff that Max has shared up on the Instagram and in our Discord. Join our Patreon to get access to the Discord and to get access to the bonus episodes, which are very fun, and I recommend them. I personally think they're great. There's 13 of them in there. So if you're all caught up on the podcast, which, good for you. Thanks for being a real one.
Okay.
Are you okay? Maybe sign up to see a therapist. Because we certainly...
For $8 a month, we'll be your therapist.
Oh, that should be a tier. Yeah, but if you want more episodes, the bonus episodes are very fun. And yeah, email us at sortofthestory@gmail.com. Visit our website for lists of all these stories and regions they're from and for more information. And have a wonderful rest of your week.
This program is made possible by listeners like you.
Well, this program is not. This program is free.
What?
But the bonus episodes certainly are made possible by listeners like the people who signed up for the bonus episodes.
True. So true. This episode will exist regardless of your involvement.
You literally matter so little to the production of this episode. That's not true. We love you. Rate and review us, but please give it 5 stars and ignore what I just said.
Or else.
Thank you. Okay, bye. You're not going to say goodbye to them?
No.
Why?
See you later. Because it's not goodbye.
Bad bye.
Bad bye.
Okay, goodbye. I am congested. Mm-hmm. But also, since I keep doing the nasal spray, I'm also runny. It's going to make this episode really gross to listen to.
Sexy, sexy.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Do you? Then you can edit it. Good, thanks.
Sure.
Because you guys aren't even going to hear the full extent of how gross this episode is going to be. What I've learned about myself editing these episodes is that I'm always sniffling, no matter what, even when I'm healthy. From this very beginning, from episode 1. I breathe by sniffling in. I'm never not runny.
Aw.
No, it's not good. It's
That's
driving
adorable.
me. No, it's driving me absolutely crazy. People have to listen to that. It's gross.
You're like one of those kids that always has boogers.
Mm-hmm. When did I become booger kid? When?
As an adult.
What the fuck is that? Some people grow into their like awkwardness, and I was like, no, I'm gonna become more awkward. Super fucking annoying.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. Wish I wasn't this way. Wouldn't that be good?
Hey, wouldn't change a thing.
Not one thing.
Not one thing.
Not even my awesome dance.
Oh, I hate that dance, but I wouldn't change it.
Not even the eye contact I make when I do that awesome dance.
I don't like it, but again, I would not change it.
You know what that's called?
What?
Twerking.
No, it's not.
It's called twerking.
No, you're mistaken.
Yeah, no, it's called, it's like a reverse twerk.
It's like a...
Quirt.
Creep.
It's a croot. You heard it here first. Max loves it.
I hate it. Janey does this dance where she undulates threateningly at you while making eye contact and making a really angry face.
If I ever was attacked on the street or if somebody was like following me, I think that's the dance that I would do to get them to leave me alone.
Like if you had to pick a dance, that would be the one.
Do you like this? It's called twerking. I think that nobody would want to kidnap me if I was that person.
It kind of is like a reverse twerk. It's like you hunch your shoulders in and you do like a weird frenzied humping motion.
It's called twerking.
It's really upsetting.
It's twerking.
I hate that dance.
Wow, then you must hate me.
But I wouldn't change it.
No, you couldn't.
It's part of you and you're perfect.
Couldn't change it even if you tried.
Wouldn't try. No, it won't be worth it.
I have a friend, when she was little, her mom used to tell her, if somebody ever tries to grab you, what are you going to do? And she was like, I go for the eyes. As my mom used to tell us all the time, like, you go for the eyes. You go for, like, the tongue. Like, you go for any soft parts of the face and you just start fucking gouging. And that's what we used to get. And you scream a lot and you don't ever go with someone, right? My mom used to be like, make him kill you in the parking lot, but don't get in the car. And I was like, yeah, that's my philosophy. I'm like, I'm not getting in that car. You're going to have to fucking stop me to death here. Sorry. Go ahead and do it. I'm ready. Anyway, so when she was little, that's what she told her because my mother had been like, gouge him in the eyes. And her mom was like, no, what? No, you're so small. You won't even be able to reach their eyes. I'm like, what the fuck? You're very tiny. She's like, no. What you're going to do is you're going to lick your fingers and you're going to pee your pants immediately. Just, if you can shit all over yourself. Nobody wants to take home that gross kid. She's like, they will find a less gross kid.
Oh, you being adult booger kid is your self-defense mechanism.
Yeah, nobody wants to kidnap me.
You're like those, what are they? The, echidnas that blow snot bubbles to cool themselves off.
Classic me.
Classic Janey.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's my self-defense 101. If anybody looks at you threateningly, either reverse twerk at them or just start shitting yourself. You're welcome. Stay alive.